From the 23rd of November, parking at Wythall Park will no longer be free. We spoke to residents of Wythall and Chairman of Wythall Community Association, Sue Baxter, to find out more. This first piece is from Natalie Mills. I'm a Wythall resident and use the park a lot. I think the parking charges are valid for those that want to use the private park. I assume that the charges will not apply for those who pay the annual park members fee. This may encourage more to pay the fee to contribute to the upkeep of our beautiful park. One thing I would say is it's not very easy to pay the fee. I always mean to every year, but it needs to be easier than filling in an application form and awaiting a reply. If it was a system where I could put my details in and pay immediately via PayPal, for example, I would do it straight away.
Hi, my name's Richard and I live on Silver Street. Wythall Park car parking charges, to me, I suppose, can be summed up in one word: disappointing. The park and buildings within are actually community assets purchased by the parish council and a community group way back in the 40s, and have been maintained by a charitable trust ever since. It's not a private park, it's not a private piece of land. It's actually a community asset, and it kind of seems like a failing, really, that at a time when the park is much needed. And if you go onto their website, and I think it's actually part of the Community Association Charter, that says that the aim of the park is to provide free access to members of the public to the park. It seems, like I say, a failing, really, that we would be looking at actually charging people to park there. Now, I know it's only 50p, and no doubt that charge will increase because that's the way that private parking companies work, and no doubt people will be hit with unjust invoices. They're not fines, incidentally, for PPCs, they're just invoices. And it seems like they're trying to actively, destroy relationships with the community. They have kind of failed to deliver events that a younger demographic within the community wants. Okay, there's been Digbeth Dining Club, that event which was unfortunately cancelled due to lockdown. That's one step forward, but it's a tiny step when you look at the assets that they've got there and you look at something similar just down the road in Rowheath Pavilion and the way that that's utilised and the way that that's run. And if you have a look at the accounts of the two organisations, you'll see they're not dissimilar, certainly in terms of staffing charges. And you do wonder about what the local community is getting for its money. And when you have an organisation which is going to basically look to exclude people, is going to have that mindset of, right, we're going to charge you for use of the park, which is, as I say, a community asset held in trust by a charitable organisation, rather than looking at itself and saying, well, what is it about us that we're not doing that means that we're not receiving funding from the community? Although I believe they do actually receive funding from the parish council in form of a levy that comes from all local residents. It just does seem, come back to that word, disappointing. In terms of what it will do, I live on Silver Street, so selfishly I'm thinking about on-street parking, about the verges that are going to be destroyed, about the use of the White Swan car park, about Bateman's Lane, because people won't, even though it's only 50p, people will resent the fact that they're being charged to use what has always been a free asset. Some members of the Wythall Park community are suggesting putting double yellow lines on Silver Street. Well, that's crazy. Why should us as residents have to have parking restrictions which prevent us from having visitors, tradespeople, deliveries, shopping deliveries, especially at this moment in time, stay for a couple of moments outside our house because an organisation doesn't seem to be able to deliver what the community wants of it. It's divisive, it's unnecessary. Again, disappointing.
And our final piece comes from Bernie Keeley. I'm a regular user of Wythall Park, walking my dogs there 4 times a week. During lockdown, and subsequently working from home, I've appreciated visiting such a lovely park, as well as meeting other dog walkers who I'm now good friends with. Typically, I use the park around 7:30 to 8 am and usually return to my car within the hour. With the new parking charges, this routine will now cost me £1.50 to £2 per week, a total of £78 to £104 annually. I am employed and can afford this fee. However, my concern lies with pensioners, as the park is a lifeline for many who often visit twice a day, therefore doubling the cost for this age group. The parking charges are free after 6 p.m. and on weekends, so occasionally visitors, working people, will be exempt from the charges, and it is proportionally pensioners who will be penalised. I understand it is a community park and not funded by the council, so needs to generate funds for the upkeep of this well-used facility. May I suggest? The committee seeks potential funding from grants, lottery funding, etc. A fixed parking permit for approximately £50 could be used to obtain vital funding. To balance this smaller charge, say £30 to £40 per year per family. And finally, we have Sue Baxter, the chairman of Wythall Community Association.
That's fine. I mean, I think the first thing is that I totally understand why people are cross and upset. I mean, nobody wants to pay for something that they'd previously either had free or they'd had included in some sort of package like the membership that they bought. And I can also understand local residents down Silver Street being concerned of what the impact might be for them. I'm the ward councillor for the area, so I'm also concerned. But we have to remember that Wythall Park is not a council park. It gets no financial support. It's a lovely big area, and it has a big car park. And car parks need maintenance, and that maintenance does have to be paid for. So I guess, in a way, it's not unreasonable to ask the people who are using that facility to contribute towards the maintenance. It's not something that I'd have done from choice.
Yeah.
It's certainly, I know I put my vision on Facebook, and it's certainly not part of my long-term vision. So it's going to happen. Can't change that. I'm hoping that the pricing level that we set it at is sufficient that people won't feel it's too much of a financial imposition on them, and that the car park will be used so that the impact on the residents in Silver Street won't be too big. We will be reviewing it. We can change it at any time in the future if we need to. I'd love to think that in 3-4 years' time, we won't need to charge for the car park. I put my vision out there on Facebook, but to actually achieve that vision, we need the support of the community.
Yeah.
We need everybody who lives in Wythall to be on our side. I don't want to be in an argument with them. I don't want to fight them. But I enjoy the park and the facilities. So, we've got to get over this hurdle. Please bear with us. And, let's look towards the long term. Hope to sort of turn the corner with the park and the club and everything. Make it a really good community facility. And you never know, we might be able to change the car parking charges at some time in the future.
If you have any more questions or queries for Sue, you can leave them in the comments below or send them to us and we'll pass them on. And if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, you can email us at wythallnews@aol.com or message us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. We're at Wythall News on all social media. And from all of us at Wythall News, we hope everybody has been staying safe in lockdown round 2.